It has been a chaotic week in the world of Philadelphia sports, and more specifically for Doug Pederson and Carson Wentz, because we are now at Wednesday and nobody really knows whether Carson Wentz will be benched or deserves to be benched, and it seems like head coach Doug Pederson is very much on that same wavelength, because his social awareness in press conferences is about that of me in a nightclub. It's not very high, and since we can't get honest answers from the head coach, or at least ones that aren't passive aggressive, what I wanted to do was refer to an old adage that a wise man once told me, and that is that the eye in the sky never lies. And we're not talking about Sauron, I'm talking about the NFL All-22. So I'm suiting up and diving back into that game against the Cleveland Browns to try and find the answers that Doug Pederson won't give us. My name is Liam Jenkins, and this is another episode of Eagles Film Room. Before we get started, guys, as always, a massive thank you for taking time out of your day to watch this video. It is hugely appreciated. If you could leave a like, that would be fantastic. And more importantly, leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think. Have I missed anything? What are your opinions on this offense? And who is responsible for its downfall right now? And if you want to continue the conversation, don't forget you can download the Flick Sports app. There's a link in the description. It's free to do. We have got 600 Eagles fans nearly in our group chat right now talking, winning contests and having a lot of post-game therapy. There's a lot of conversation about Carson Wentz, so make sure if you've got a strong opinion, join one of our fastest growing community, because the more of you that join, the more cool stuff we can do within that app. I'm going to start with a fact check, okay? Carson Wentz was bad against the Browns. He wasn't terrible, though. And I was oddly pleasantly surprised when going back and looking through the film. I was expecting to be grossly disappointed and questioning a lot about the NDSU product, but I was more surprised than anything else. He was bad. It was one of his better games of the season, which is certainly saying something. And I don't want this video to be an apologist video for Carson Wentz, because I want to acknowledge straight up, he was bad. But what I want to do is contextualize why he was bad and what may be attributing to some of those struggles, unlike the coaching staff right now. I'm actually going to start off praising him here, because this touchdown throw to Richard Rodgers may actually be one of his best throws he's made all season. If you look at this look originally, it looks as if it's going to be a cover 2. You can see there's some movement, and now Carson Wentz has got one safety. You've got a wing formation, and what we're going to see after some tight end motion is a high-low read. The idea here is that Carson Wentz has got to pin that high safety. It's either going to be the high one. The tight ends are going to go streaking down the middle. You've got two comebacks on the outside. So the play unfolds, it's a play action fake. This immediately draws that safety down. The safety, you can see they're charging down in towards the box. Wentz keeps the ball. Now you've got a shot to take. You've got Richard Rodgers going over the top, or do you go maybe outside? But Wentz immediately looks in the slot, because who he wants is his man Dallas Goedert. He knows he's probably got the more favourable matchup here. So Goedert wins off the line of scrimmage, gets a step. Carson's pulling back here, but what he does really well is go to throw there, hold that back, and that moves the safety well out of the way of Richard Rodgers. Carson Wentz, little bit of wizardry in the pocket, resets his feet, delivers a nice strike to the back of the end zone. That, realistically, is about the cleanest throw we've seen from Carson Wentz all year long. And that's just got to be acknowledged, okay? That when he's got time, when receivers are open, when he can move like this, he can still do it. He's not broken. He just maybe needs a battery change. What really isn't helping him, though, is a total lack of run-pass balance. Because when you've got backs as explosive as Boston Scott and Miles Sanders, who are averaging maybe 5 yards per carry, who can hold up a 9-play drive, who can push themselves down in the red zone without needing that quarterback support, and you take that away, you're putting more pressure on a quarterback who has a multitude of other problems to be dealing with. There is no reason to be deviating away from a running game that is holding up absolutely fine in a close game. If you go down 3 scores, start throwing, get in desperation mode. We're not seeing that with the Eagles. I don't know why they keep deviating away from a running game that largely is a pretty polished product, all things considered. Now, we are going to get to coaching a bit later, but before we get to that, we have to talk about why the plays that should have worked didn't. Because we can blame Doug Pederson for having all the bad plays in the world, but if the good ones that get called aren't being executed right, not really on him, and we're seeing an example of that right here. So the Eagles are in a situation where, of course, in their own territory, you've got to have a pair of in-breaking routes from Dallas Goedert and Greg Ward Jr., an out-breaking route on the other side of the field, so a lot of traffic in the middle, and Alshon Jeffrey, big slot receiver, running up the seam. Now, he's going to actually gain a lot of separation here, does a brilliant little stutter step, fakes outside, pulls back across the face of the corner. This is a perfect route if that single safety bites down, which he does. So if we watch this route unfold here, just to receivers, there goes the safety. The safety there you can see comes down. You've triple covered that in-breaking route there. And now Carson Wentz has to make a decision. He's either got to yeet it or he's going to try and make something happen with his feet. And the reason he's got to do that is because the offensive line fell apart. Now again, just focus on Alshon Jeffrey here. Beautiful little step, pulls back inside. That should be a touchdown. With a receiver that big, with that kind of separation, inside leverage, that should be a touchdown if the throw comes off. Ultimately, it's a sack. Now, why was it a sack? Let's just take a little closer look at what the offensive line does here. Isaac Seumalo just gets absolutely battered, bruised, and then the rest of the line falls apart. And then he runs in to Jason Peters. I don't know what the pair of them are doing there. You've got, I don't know what's just happened to Jalen Reagor at the top. He's just been headbutted, so that's happened. It's just chaos. It is absolute chaos all over the field. It is a shambles. So the plays that should work aren't because of this sort of thing. This is third down in the second quarter. You're down by 7, pressing into enemy territory. It leads me directly to the coaching, because if you've got an offensive line that can't block, then running long developing routes makes very, very little sense. We see an example of that here. Just watch before we get to anything else, okay? Alshon Jeffrey motions down the bottom. What is this route? Like, what is that? Like, what does that do? Because now he's open, but there's nothing. There is nothing for Carson Wentz to throw at. There is absolutely nothing he can do without a man draped over him. If you've got an offensive line that cannot block, your quarterback is being swallowed up, why are you running such complex route combinations that could be 2-3 read looks where Carson Wentz has to do all the heavy lifting? Where are the simple slants? Where are the drag routes? Where are the screens? Where's the underneath stuff? Where are the yards after the catch plays? There's nothing. Isaac said, look at him! He's on his own! I don't know what's going on there. Like, none of it makes sense. Like, you have to help him out a bit here. If we're going to talk Isaac Seumalo for just a second before we get to anything else, I don't really want to hamper on Jason Peters too much because it is a waste of energy, much like Jason Peters on the field this year. But Seumalo, who's someone that's young enough and could be a future piece of this team, that's your starting left guard. This is the opening play of the game. This is a Miles Sanders run. What we're going to see from Seumalo, it's a simple assignment. The offensive line are blocking that way, nice and easy. The idea for Seumalo is to get to the second level and pick up number 44. It's not hard. He gets a little chip there. Here's Jason Peters with the help. Get off. Okay, get off now. Yep, get off then. Yep, time to get off. Yep, get off then. Yep. Brilliant. That's fantastic, that, mate. Well done. Absolutely smashed it. Like, it's just frustrating. All right, here we go. Another third down, this time at the top of the third quarter. To start the second half, real sense of optimism. The Eagles can come out, still win this game. Big third down inside their own territory. What does Doug Pederson draw up? You notice in a pattern here with unimaginative play calls on third down. Here's another one for the trend. All he's going to call, and I'm not even joking, is every receiver running a dig. Every single receiver's going to run a dig. And the Browns lap this up. They start off with 2 safeties. It's a 3-step drop for Wentz. And look at that safety charge down. He knows he's going straight down to Fulgham. He knows straight away. You take Fulgham away. That allows the linebacker to dip back onto Greg Ward. 2 double covered over the middle. The curl and the flat is sorted. It's singled up everywhere else. Wentz has nowhere to go. Nowhere to go. This is third down and 4. There is nothing doing. Nothing doing whatsoever. And it's the cheek of the Browns. They only need to rush 3 because they know they can still get away with it. Because there's nothing that Carson Wentz can do. Like, what do you want him to do in that situation? Again, it's embarrassing. It's flat out embarrassing that the Eagles have struggled with massively over the last couple of weeks is third down production. And by production, I mean just even getting to third down is a problem because they end up being 3rd and 10, 3rd and 9, 3rd and 11. And the thing Doug Pederson stressed in his presses was that, he's going to do a better job of calling plays. We're not getting enough yards on 1st and 2nd down. And maybe that's because you don't run the ball. Here's 2nd and 10. All right, look at the spot. Ball on the 38, 54 seconds to go at the 31-yard line. This is a nice opportunity. Maybe get to a 3rd and 5, work towards the 50. Like, just creep your way up the back stairs. You're moving good at this point. It's a 1-score game, nothing to worry about. Instead, what we see is just an absolute travesty. Carson Wentz drops back. He's hitched, absolutely ambushed by the offensive line. What is the point in running routes that maybe take 10 yards to break? You've got 2 yards there to take 10 yards, 2 in breaking routes, a vertical, a little drag check down over the middle, which he can't get to anyway, because that still takes 5 yards to break, and a wheel route where he's being covered by that corner. What's the point? What do you actually gain from doing that? If the offensive line is playing this bad, and you are struggling on 3rd and long, Why not give yourself 3rd and short and run the ball with a running game that works instead of this? And I'm not saying Carson Wentz would have played magically better here, but you can't hold him responsible when Jason Peters lets that happen. You just can't do it. You just cannot do it. And then you've got Alshon Jeffrey doing Alshon Jeffrey things, like refusing to jump up on a play which ends up being intercepted, and then one play later looking to stop in the middle of a route on a pass which then fell incomplete, would have otherwise probably earned him a bit of separation and been a completion. I don't know what more you want Carson Wentz to do. It's a failure of execution, it's bad play by the O-line, it's bad play by the receivers, it's terrible play calling, unimaginative play calling that hasn't changed all season, and ultimately bad quarterbacking. Like, we can't ignore that. Carson Wentz, what he did this game was damage limitation. He didn't turn the ball over that much. I know he had 2 interceptions. Both of them, I would say, could have been avoided had there been, I don't know, not a rogue Alshon Jeffrey or terrible, terrible offensive line play. So this is the first game where when he's being hit, he's not yeeting the ball around randomly. He's not aimlessly throwing it and trying to play hero ball. He was far more conservative this game, and we've got to applaud him for that because that is a step forward. If we're going to call a spade and call him a bad quarterback, let's at least acknowledge that he's aware that maybe he's being a bit too reckless and needs to improve. So we're seeing an improvement with Carson Wentz. We're not seeing an improvement with everything else. Everything else is going backwards. It starts with the head coach, and I hate to be that guy. It starts with Doug Pederson, and you can see it in the press conferences. You can hear it in his voice, in his passive-aggressive, sarcastic responses. You can visibly tell it in the awful, awful play calling. Something has to change. The ownership has to be aware of it here. Jeffrey Lurie has got to have his eye fixed on what Doug Pederson does over these next few weeks, because I cannot see this tenure lasting much longer at this rate. I hope this contextualizes some of the struggles against the Browns. What we've learned today: unimaginative play calling leads to struggles on 3rd down, a deviation away from the run. But basically, it's a mess. All right, guys, it is a total mess. I want to know your thoughts, though. Let me know down in the comments. From myself, Liam Jenkins, thank you for watching this video. It really does mean a lot. If you could leave a like, that would be amazing. I will see you in our Flick Sports group chat. I'll see you soon.